All right, we'll call this public hearing to order. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider public comment for the adoption of an ordinance that would allow county agencies to pay a bonus not to exceed $500. The purpose of this, we were approached by an agency that we fund, and the statute requires that we have a public hearing and then subsequently potentially adopt an ordinance to allow them to do that. I think this would allow us to potentially do that as well, so that's the purpose of this public hearing. At this time, if anybody would like to make a public comment, there's no one here physically in the audience. However, you can also do a telephonic remark if you'd like, and that number is 276-333-0357. And Adam, I believe it's scrolling across the screen as well, so. The floor and phone lines are open for a telephonic remark on this ordinance.
Make a motion.
For the, project 106 was court.
Oh, I guess I can, yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
I was just trying to write down.
We need to add it, yeah. Yeah, thank you for running. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I got sniffles too.
Oh, I've just started.
They know how long Cindy, Teresa might have to be there.
It happened last year, and she was in the hospital for a day.
Oh. My brother, before his bypass and stuff, had problems with AFib.
He lives in, where was all that, Susan, she sells?
Yeah, I can't think what that boy's name is. He's a Stanley, I believe.
Does Susan live down there, still on Cherokee Lake?
She lives in Coke.
Oh,
You know where that Jack Forest is? Like, when you start up St. Paul, when you just get on, and there's a Jack Forest there. And the house up at
does she
that.
sell a rainfowl in the lake?
I don't know.
My
But she
brother
lives
got
right in
home.
a big house up above that Jack's Forest.
Does she?
She used to own the Jack's Forest, but she sold it.
She married now?
She's a ham, H-A-M-M.
Have you reported the
She's been
cases
married
for
now.
today?
Does she?
Mr. Chairman, you wanna make a motion to close?
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion that we close the first public hearing.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
One last call, Mr. Mullins, are there any calls? And there is no one in the audience desiring to make a public comment, so all those in favor desiring to close this public hearing, please say aye. Aye as well. We will now bring to order the second public hearing. It's now 5:45. The purpose of this public hearing is for consideration and public remark in regard to the adoption of a revised transient occupancy tax ordinance. This involves the ordinance wherein the county collects lodging taxes from our hotels and other lodging facilities within the county, and campgrounds. And so we are considering potentially a reduction in that occupancy tax rate percentage. And so if anyone would like to make a public remark in regard to this, you may do so. Would note that there is no one here to make a remark. However, our phone lines are open, 276-333-0357.
Mr. Chairman, you want a motion to close this one?
Uh,
Or you wanna open it over?
we'll just wait to, if it, I mean, we got them in 5-minute increments, so.
Okay.
I mean, we can do whatever the board's desire is, but we got a couple
That's
meetings.
fine.
Didn't see it put in here. Not coming down, are they? Is this how I want to speak? Is that there? Okay, that's who I,
I fixed your message and tell you. that.
okay. I wondered if that was who.
No questions.
Yeah, but I didn't get them until just a little bit ago, but I sent them on and told her that I have had company and I have not been on the computer good.
That's last minute getting them.
I know, 3:55. I don't know if she'll understand or not. But I sent them on to her.
No, I haven't, thank goodness, I'm sorry.
Ms. Wilson, if you want to make your motion,
I'll make a motion that we close this public hearing.
one last call, any calls? Anybody here to make a remark? Is there a second, Ms. Wilson's motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. We'll now move on. This is a public hearing. This is similar to what we've been doing. Basically, it's an ordinance that allows the government to operate in the pandemic and allows us to modify what the traditional rules in regard to public meetings are. The adoption of this ordinance will allow some electronic meetings without a physical quorum. And so if anybody would like to make a comment in regard to our board considering the adoption of that ordinance, you may call 276-333-0357 or make a remark here publicly. Ms. Sturgill, that's something we need to do annually, correct? I mean,
That is
we wanna
correct.
Maintain that
Yes.
potential, which I
Every
hope
6
we don't
months, I
have to
think,
use.
isn't it?
It is 6 months.
biannually.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm having troubles hearing a little bit. I need to go see the hearing doctor with this cold too.
If anyone wants to make a motion.
I make a motion that we close this, public hearing.
One last call for any calls, Mr. Mullins. Anybody that'd like to make a comment on our ordinance? Any further discussion by the board? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. As well. Public meeting will be adjourned. We have one more public hearing that we'll bring to order. This public hearing is in regard to a ordinance to create a regional industrial facilities authority. Mr. Barton, would you like to elaborate briefly on that?
Sure will. Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple months ago, we made the vote to join the Cumberland Industrial Facilities Authority to work on economic development as a region with Cumberland Plateau counties. And since then, we've attended, you guys appointed Ron and Peggy as your members, and we've had a couple meetings so far. We're moving forward with that, but to be official and everything, we have to actually adopt an ordinance in order to join that. So that's what we're here for today, and this is just as a means to increase our ability to conduct economic development in the region.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. Does any other board members have a comment on that? If the public would like to make a remark in regard to this prospective ordinance, you can call 276-333-0357, or if anybody in the audience now would like to make a remark in regard to that ordinance.
Been long enough.
Yeah, do you want to break before we start the regular meeting?
I'll make a motion that we close public comment.
Mr. Mullins, any calls? Any further discussion? Anybody in here want to make a comment? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. That public comment will be adjourned. Got about 2 minutes before our regular meeting begins.
The boys can do it.
I do too. Call the regular monthly meeting of the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors to order. It's good to see everyone. I note that our regular clerk, Miss Lyle, is not present. We have Karen Fuller as our backup. Miss Lyle has had a medical emergency, so we want to ask everyone to keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Note that all members are present, along with County Attorney County Attorney Mr. Sturgill and County Administrator Mr. Barton. Let's go to the Lord in prayer here before we begin our meeting. Heavenly Father, we come before you as humbly as we know how. We ask you to bless this meeting and be with each representative here as we conduct the county's business. I ask you to be with Miss Lyle, Lord, while she's in the hospital. I hope that you comfort her and her family, and please be with her. Please be with anybody in our community that is sick. I ask you to be with our football team as they prepare to travel up north to Bluefield, Virginia. And I ask us just a special blessing on each household that's represented here. Dear Lord, I hope everything we do tonight is pleasing to you. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Peters, do you want to lead us in the...
Everyone stand. Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have in our packet our meeting minutes from our October meeting. Are there any issues that we need to address with those minutes? Any questions or concerns? If there's not any,
I'll make a motion, we approve them.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. Meeting minutes will be approved. Mr. Barton, are there any members, are there any modifications, additions, or subtractions to the agenda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have two that we would like to add. We had a phone call today with the Corps of Engineers, and the 106 programmatic agreement that we had approved recently in a recent meeting. There's a change to that, and we need to add that back to our agenda for approval again.
Where do you suggest we put that?
Maybe another business under number 12.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Be
Under
12A.
number 12A.
Okay.
And we're also going to have a 12B if we could. We need authorization to call a public hearing for a livestock roaming ordinance that Mr. Sturgill has been working on. So if we could add those two items.
Okay, B is livestock.
Livestock roaming ordinance. We need to call a public hearing for that.
Roaming?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Roaming at large, animals getting loose.
On that.
Making some adjustments. We've been talking with animal control, some issues that they've had, and we've had to make an update.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I haven't got a call, but I normally have problems with some horses down where.
That's the issues we've been having.
It's down is it down near, in Sand Lake District, down near, Frying Pan?
I'm not sure of the location, but that is
said they
the
were having
issue that
issues.
we've been having.
Is chickens considered a livestock, Mr.?
It's not currently. I think that's under poultry, and there was a question of whether to include that or not include that. And at this point, my understanding is that that's not being requested to be added. But at the same time, that would be at the pleasure of the board.
So I guess the purpose of this addition is just for discussion. I mean, we don't have anything in our packet, right? And
Exactly.
It's just a
you
call
need some
public
guidance.
hearing.
Certainly.
Exactly.
All right, with those additions, do we approve the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda with those additions?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any other issues anybody sees? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. The agenda's approved. Mr. Barton, the floor is yours for the county administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we get into the county administrator's report, I want to update you on something I failed to mention last month. Of course, the report you have before you today is for the month of September. Normally, we would be seeing the month of October. Last month, we had the month of August. This month, we have the month of September. The treasurer's office has been having some issues getting and staying in balance with the school division. And I had went up, I had helped the treasurer's office and went to a meeting recently at the school board office to try to help reconcile that. And the treasurer's called for another meeting today, as a matter of fact. So they're trying to get that fixed to get back in line. So that's why our reports are a month behind. So we're to share that as we get into the report. So
Larry, I guess you want to do them all together, the co-road improvement and...
we will. So
Okay.
the report we'll have for the month of September, we're going to have the general county fund revenue for the month of September is $1,801,024. Year to date, $4,882,434. And our expenditures for the month of September is $2,609,803. Total year-to-date, $8,648,184. As we look at the local coal and gas road improvement fund, revenue for the month of September, $482,136. Year-to-date, $1,209,514. Expenditures for the month of September, $191,482. Year-to-date, $537,927. E911 revenue for the month of September, $21,035. Year-to-date, $203,353. Expenditures for the month of September, $61,428. Year-to-date, $198,284. And lastly, the Federal CARES Act COVID-19 Fund. Revenue for the month of September is $123. Year-to-date, $450,385. Expenditures for the month of September, $51,190. Year-to-date, $461,519. Does anyone have any questions or clarifications needed on this?
Anybody have any
Well,
questions for?
so the general county fund revenue went up $500,000, but the expenditure went up $250,000?
Right, and that's kind of typical in county government with our two big collection periods being the December 5th tax collection, which is the largest, and then the June 5th. So we'll see a big influx of revenue in November and December on that. And then, of course, it'll reverse and your expenditures will exceed your revenue until you get to May and June. So, but we're running pretty well on track.
So what Mrs. Wright says, that people are
Yes.
taking act?
If there's no other question, I make a motion we approve his report.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. Mr. Barton, expenditures?
Okay. Expenditure for the month of October in our general county fund, our total expenditures was $1,080,521.31. In the enhanced E911 fund, total expenditures were $65,840.73. None in the coal and gas road improvement fund, and in the Federal CARES Act was $213,839.49. I'll entertain any questions that you may have there.
Anybody have any remarks or questions? Three motions.
I make a motion that we approve the expenditures.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. Ms. Fuller, we doing okay? Okay, good. Item 7, roads. Ms. Willis, if you want to start with your district. I don't see, there's
I
not
don't
many
have
people.
anyone,
in
I've
here.
been reporting several, so, I don't have anyone here from Kennedy. But if anybody wants to call in one, I'll be happy to report it.
Thank you, Ms. Lowe's.
Is anyone here from the Clintwood district having, like Shelby said, I've been trying to call in a few. I'm sure I'm thankful for the rumble
Call in a
strips.
lot.
Rumble strips that we have on our 83 now. They've been working on those. I did call in about the ditch out here at the trailer court. They don't have a ditch. It's a problem. But if anybody has, if you want to call in, you have a problem, I'll be glad to address it.
Ms. Kaiser?
Anybody besides Larry here with Irvington District got any? Did you come as a delegate for your area for complaints?
Everybody quit talking for some reason. Must be happy.
I have turned in some on the call in and go online and report some, and just waiting, I guess, to find time to fix this. That's all.
Mr. Peters?
Anyone from Sand Lake District, Scotty, no? Well, I'll speak a minute. Loop Circle is fixed.
Yes.
It's done, waiting for the bills to come in, so it took long enough, but kinda had luck in our favor, cause we had some money that came back from social services, and were able to roll the funds back forward from the year before, and I was able to, together with a partnership with PSA and with the citizen, we were able to fix the problem. That had been a long-standing problem. So I was glad to see that happen.
Me too.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Anybody here from the Willis? I don't believe I see anybody. We'll move on then, I guess, or you all, is that enough for roads for everybody? Move on to item 8, public comment. The podium is now open for anybody here that'd like to make a public remark, as well as the phone line, 276-333-0357. Again, the podium is open for anyone present that would like to make a remark. Just remind everybody, I guess there's not gonna be there's be no residential pickup on
Correct.
Thursday for
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
Thursday, no
so
residential.
Yeah, that's
pickup.
normal.
No trash. And we gave out, what, 500 food boxes today? How
500
many
food
booster
boxes,
shots?
100 COVID booster shots, 20 flu vaccines, and 735 at-home COVID test kits were given out today. People were lined up, starting at 6:30 this morning for the event. Start at 9. We had a really good turnout. Traffic was all snaked through the parking lot, back down the main road, so we're pleased to see the turnout we had, so.
Larry, I know, I come over here about 8:30 and you were already out here directing traffic, so I appreciate everything you did to put that
No problem.
on, and that was huge.
Glad to help
I
the
don't think
community.
anybody expected that kind of
I
turnout.
didn't, no.
Appreciate the sheriff having somebody over here with traffic too.
I think our maintenance people helped give out
Yeah.
the food kits.
We did, we had our maintenance staff help them, so.
Team effort.
Team effort,
Yeah.
exactly. We're blessed to have a partner like the Health Wagon to,
Decided I'd wait till after Thanksgiving.
And
Mr. Mullins,
it's
is there
good to
any,
see them involved,
it is.
because COVID is still here.
Oh, yeah.
Our numbers today were
27 more
20
cases today.
27 more
Yeah.
today.
And I know some deaths too that have happened in the last few days too.
Sad.
There's more in the hospital today,
Not sure they were Dickinson County.
at Valley Hills.
With this being public comment, I'll speak up that Clinchco is having their very first Christmas parade Saturday night, I think at 6 o'clock. And then on December 1st, I'm partnering with the McClure Kiwanis, and we are doing a Christmas tree lighting and having Santa and giving out hot chocolate, cookies, and singing Christmas carols, and doing the second chapter of Luke, Bible reading of Jesus' birth
At 6 o'clock, you
at
said?
5:30.
5:30, so.
5:30 on December the 1st at the Little League Field in McClure.
When was the Clinchco one again?
This Saturday, the 27th.
Saturday.
I also believe Haysos is the
Yes.
third, and theirs is Clintwood
Clintwood's
District
the
is
fourth.
fourth, yeah.
They got a real pretty tree out there. They're gonna light December the 4th at 5, I believe. Was it, Josh? 5?
I'm not sure, I
I
don't know
think
if
it
it's
is, and
before or
then the
after the
parade's
parade.
at 6.
Yeah, something like
Yes, and
that.
then the Christmas
I
in the
think
park.
the counties are doing a float, and Tammy asked me if we would do some treats, and I was gonna get you to order the Cracker Jacks if you don't care for me.
Okay.
And they want something to give out that doesn't break when they give it out or doesn't lay
To
on the
toss
street.
out, yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay.
want something
Who's
soft.
doing the float, Shelby?
The
Our
county.
building,
They had a
our
meeting
building's
the other
getting together and doing all 3 parades this year.
When you say the county, who's it?
Well, everyone in our building,
In your
In this
building?
building.
in this
Uh-huh.
building, we're all
And
working on it.
They had a
Do you-
meeting the other day and I was over.
they had a meeting, where you're gonna build it here or where?
Each of the 3 parades, we're gonna do,
I know
Clinchco's
where you're gonna
this,
build your float.
it'll be here,
Can you get it in so you don't get
in
out
the
of the
warehouse, yeah.
Do you need any help on it or
I'm sure we could, we're,
when you gonna start working on it?
Good question.
It's not far long to the fourth.
Oh, because the board, the.
Superman.
I'm at the 27th.
Clinch,
You're going
Clinchco, we're
over?
probably only gonna have to be able to take we're gonna go and take the truck and some side-by-sides and participate. We probably won't get our float together in time for that, but we're hoping by the next weekend we can get it pulled off.
Well,
So
if
we're
you'll
gonna be in
send
all
us a
three.
Tied up.
text, I'd like to help. If I
Yeah, whenever we get some times, I'll let y'all know.
I usually
so.
send Joe, but he's not able, but I'll
We'd
send
love to have y'all
myself.
participate.
And I can bring some young people too.
Even better.
Mr. Mullins, any calls? Is there a motion
So
to
let me know.
end public comment?
I'll make that motion.
Or second?
I'll
Second.
second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Well, takes us to item number 9, appointments. The first being the Board of Building Code Appeals. We have 3 openings. 2 of the members are eligible for reappointment. That's Mr. Mullins, and I believe, who was the other one?
Mr. Wood.
Mr. Wood, that's correct. And then we have a vacancy by Mr. Compton. So I think we're probably in unanimous agreement for the reappointment of Mr. Mullins and Mr. Wood. I don't know if someone wants to make that
I'll
motion.
make that motion that we reappoint, Mr. Wood and Mr. Kermit Mullins.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on Mr. Mullins and Mr. Wood's reappointment? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
And can I suggest the name of Raven Fletcher
Are you
for
putting that in
the Allen Compton placement?
Putting that in a motion?
Yes, I make that as a motion.
Okay, we have Mr. Fletcher's name.
I will second that.
In a second. Any further discussion on Mr. Fletcher? All those in favor of Mr. Fletcher, please say aye. Aye as well. That takes us next to the Planning Commission.
These aren't, district appointments, is that correct? Because I don't have an appointment on here.
Well, Shelby, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be, because there's 5 of them. And, because I know that's what I did with Ron Edwards, and that's what Delano did when he appointed
There
me.
was 7.
I don't know why you didn't have yours on
I've
there.
never had an appointment.
Yeah, I don't know what
Because I don't think
districts
they're
all these
district, they're
folks
not
are in,
district
but
appointments, I don't think.
I do know that Alan was Irvington, and David appointed him as his district appointee.
Is this board even met?
What's that?
Have y'all even?
We haven't met for
We
over
have-
a year,
we have
since
not.
COVID hit. We do need to start meeting because we
have
gotta
a
work
plan
on
we
that
better work
plan.
on, yes.
Well, you're on it, right, Ron?
Yes,
Yes.
I am, and Ron is.
Or Richard Mullins is,
Do
It's
we know
Richard-
the bylaws? I mean, do we know if they're supposed to be
Richard
district
Mullins, is that
appointments?
the one
It
from
doesn't state,
Evans?
in here
It
specifically.
just customarily, it has been treated that way, and I don't know why, Shelby.
It never has up till,
Well, that's why Delano put me on there, cause
Yeah.
Sandwich, and
but
All right.
they're not district.
Well, I have the name of Lucille Green for the Allen Compton placements that I'd make a motion for.
So it
Okay.
appears that she technically would be filling an unexpired term
Yes.
of Mr. Compton.
Yes.
And you want to state that name again, please?
Lucille Green.
Lucille Green, is there a second for Ms. Green to fill
I'll
the
second it.
unexpired term of Mr. Compton? Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Lucille Green, Madam Clerk, for the unexpired term of Mr. Compton. And we have Norman Lewis, who's, I don't know if Mr. Lewis wants to serve anymore, or, I have no idea.
No, I've never met Barbara. Is she your district?
She is.
Okay. And then Norman, which district is
He's
he?
in he's in the Clinton
Clinton.
district. Norman is.
Okay.
I think Norman would
Edwards
probably
is
be fine.
mine. So
And Mr.
Richard would
Mullins
be
is
Willis too, wouldn't he?
I'm not sure who that is. I
Willis
don't know.
District.
No,
He'll
well,
be
I know
Willis
it's
as well.
Richard
Richard
Mullins.
Mullins, he's
Yeah,
the
but I
one
don't know who
that,
that, I don't know.
yeah.
He belongs to
No, he
Bellevue.
belongs to Bellevue now.
What?
He's
He
at
belongs to
Bellevue.
Bellevue now, but I
Oh,
think.
does he? Okay,
But I
I didn't
think he
know that.
lives, does he live near Tivis or,
He lives on
You
Lake
live on
Road.
Lake Road?
At the end of Lake
Lives the
Road.
last
I
house
must be
on
the only
Lake
person that don't
Road.
know him. I don't think I know
Yeah,
him.
I
he's a
don't know
good
if I
guy.
really know him either.
I do.
Rick, is it Rick?
She lived
Yeah,
out there
Rick,
the whole
okay,
time
yeah.
I've been out
He's
there.
on Cumberland Plateau.
He's-
Yeah, Rick.
He sit with us.
You know-
often.
Yeah, he's a great
He's
guy.
a great guy.
He's on Cumberland Plateau, too. You know
Yeah.
him, Shelby.
Yeah,
I know
now I
him well.
know.
He's our friend.
What?
He's our friend.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a very good.
Is he the guy that sat with us at the table?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is.
Okay.
Bill Floyd's
I will
open.
tell you, there's not anything real controversial.
Well, I don't see why he probably would do it anyway, if Rick's a
Yeah.
good guy. And I
We
think
do have
Norman
to
would
do this
too.
comprehensive plan
Norman's
that
a good
we
guy.
are behind.
Really
Yeah.
good.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint the other two.
So we have a motion for Richard Mullins and Norman
Norman.
Lewis to be
They
reappointed.
both have been on there for a long, long time, before I got on there.
I will second Shelby's
Yeah.
motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well. Takes us to C. I think we had dealt with this a little bit last month, maybe even the month before, I don't know.
Is this the spearhead?
It is.
I asked Kevin Mullins, and he said he would be glad to serve on it.
All right, is that a motion?
I put the motion that we appoint Kevin Mullins.
Is there a
I'll second
second? Any
I'll
further
second it.
discussion? Have a second by Ms. Willis, a motion by Ms. Sluss, Madam Clerk. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. So that's
Well.
Kevin Mullins.
Yep.
Okay.
Then we have the Cumberland Plateau OptiNet Board. This is a vacancy in Mr. Price's previous position. Of course, this has been vacant for a long time. Is there a motion?
What Larry Edwards said he would,
He's
Pardon
here
me?
tonight with us in the
that's
back.
Larry. He's changed so much since he was in school. I didn't know where he was. Now I recognize him.
But
So
yes,
we-
Mr. Edwards is willing to serve on
Yes.
behalf of the county and
put that motion.
we do
I
an
put that
excellent job
motion
at
that we
representing
nominate
us.
Larry Edwards.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of Mr. Edwards serving on this board, Mr. Larry Edwards, please say aye.
Aye.
As well.
I might
Mr.
say,
Edwards,
I might say you've grown up to
I'm
be a good
not
looking.
sure that they've been utilizing the folks on this at the present time, but there'll be a time for it. But just, they'll reach out to you.
All right, item number 10, you have, I'll talk to this a little bit. You have before you a resolution approving the city of Bristol entering into the Southwest Virginia Regional Jail Authority. Myself and Sheriff Fleming and Mr. Barton have been wrestling around with the Regional Jail Authority for several months now. Of course, you all seen it in the news. We had probably 3 in-depth meetings. The last 2 were very in-depth and a lot of back and forth about the city of Bristol and what that would do. And obviously my concern in on that being serving on that board is what it would do to Dickinson County financially. As you all know, when the Regional Jail Authority was formed, all the coal counties, I think Tazewell didn't join initially, but all the other coal counties, Dickinson, Lee, Scott, Wise, Russell, and Washington all joined and built the facilities at a cost to the taxpayers. So the facilities are already built, the men are there, the vans are there, all the infrastructure's there, and we paid for that. We're finally kind of catching up and seeing the savings of the authority. So allowing somebody just to come in cold turkey was a little bit controversial, or at least to me it was, given that we had built the facilities, and so that, you know, were we gonna just let them in easy breezy or not? And fortunately, a lot of other members kind of had the same concerns, but you also want to be neighborly. They're dealing with overcrowding and they'd like to join, and so you want to, you know, not just say, no, you're not coming in. But anyway, the Regional Jail Authority Board, the last meeting, approved a resolution and a prospective contract subject to the approval of each county, which we're getting ready to vote on. The long and short of it is they're going to pay a premium for each inmate. So they're going to pay a premium price, a higher price than what we pay per inmate. And they're also going to, I forgot all the details of it, but the key thing is they're going to pay a premium for the inmate. They're going to buy a few vans. They're going to pay a minimum head count. So meaning whether or not there are 200 inmates or not from the city of Bristol, they're gonna pay for 200 inmates. So that's a little bit of an issue, because right now I think they're like at 180, something like that. And all the analysis that were presented to our board showed that if they were to enter into the authority, it would cost people like in Dickinson County more if they weren't able to keep 180 inmates into the authority. All that's a lot of complex, not really complex, but a little bit confusing information. Nonetheless, your three members on the board worked very hard to protect Dickinson County and make sure this was a fair agreement, and I think it is.
I
Mr.
think when
Barton?
I read it, Josh, it also says if they exceed 200, they have to pay the higher one.
Correct.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's
I
correct.
wanted to point that out.
200 minimum, but then if it's over there, it would be based on
Well,
actual.
Mr. Chairman, the new sheriff over there, didn't he say his campaign was he wasn't gonna use it?
Well, and that, you know, their council's voted though.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and that's kind of, we're not even getting into all that. I mean, if they want to, they can't sign it or we can't execute it until all counties approve this
Okay,
resolution.
okay. Has the
No.
rest
So,
of
so
them
some of the
already
other
approved it?
counties may not approve it. I don't,
Okay,
my recommendation is we approve it though.
Yeah, and
It's
I think
unanimous with the
also in
board.
there, they did this previously with Tazewell, where their county jail became part of the authority and Bristol's jail will become part of the authority.
No, well, no, their jail will not become part
They
of the
won't?
authority.
Okay, I
No, they're
thought
gonna
that's
shut it
what-
down
It will
completely.
close, and they cannot use
Oh,
that.
So
okay.
they're gonna come to Abington. I get, well, they could go anywhere.
Yeah.
For instance, we have Dickinson County inmates in Duffield,
Okay, I
I
thought, I
mean,
may have misread that.
but they're
then.
shutting
Yeah.
down their, and that was a point of,
And confusion was concerned with the federal inmates
Well-
using that.
that was something we cleared up. We didn't want them to keep their jail open and house federal inmates and get paid big bucks.
No, I read that.
But no, their jail's closing. It's gonna
Okay,
be
I
closed.
misread that then,
No, that's not to say the city couldn't use it for,
yeah.
it won't be a jail though. I mean, it won't, it
Oh,
can
yeah.
be something
Yeah,
else, but
I
it won't be a
give, maybe
jail.
I interpolated.
So where are they gonna be
because
taking their
Tazewell did it that
inmates
way.
to?
I'd say primarily Abington.
Abington?
I mean, they could use Duffield or Hayside.
Well, I was talking to an employee down there, at
I misread
the,
that.
at Hayside, they said they had 350 inmates, is that right, Jeremy?
That's about right.
And they had to build an addition on for the women?
Yeah.
Probably
They built
over,
that a long time
probably
ago.
3/4 of those are Buchanan County.
They are.
yeah.
How many regional jails are there? Duffield and Hayside and Washington counties?
And in
Abington?
Tazewell, there's 4.
Oh, okay.
If you all voted to approve it, I make a motion that we go ahead and approve.
Yeah, it was unanimous by the jail
It
authority.
was.
Well, I second that. Y'all know you've studied it hard and tried to do the best you can for Dickinson County.
Is there any further discussion or questions, or, Mr. Barton, you think I articulated
You did.
essentially where we were?
You did very well, so thank you.
You good.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. The next item is our sign at the Judicial Center. Larry?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. In your board packet, there's a quote from Bristol Sign. Of course, Mr. Roy Mullins brought this over to me several months ago and discussed with me the issue. He indicated a lot of folks that come into town don't really know what the building is. They think it's perhaps a hotel or something like that. He says we need better signage. Currently, we have the name above the door between the historic courthouse and the Judicial Center that has the Henry A. Vanover Judicial Center on it. And in front of the building, there's a small sign, admittedly not very visible, pointing to the historic courthouse and then to the Judicial Center. And so he had contacted Bristol Sign about putting letters, kind of like the ones between the buildings, 15 inches in height. And the quote's attached there for $5,885.79. And the next page shows just a rendition. Bristol Sign had took a picture of the building and put the name on there. And there has been some concern over that as far as, permanently fixing something to the building, as far as the architectural design of the building, et cetera, et cetera. So we added a second option here in your packet. And Mr. Chair, this is intended to be a sign, your sign looks very professional at your office with the black and gold, the way it's laid out, a sign kind of like you've got. And that's just the first rendition of it. It's $3,328.67. This could be placed, mounted in the ground in front of the building, so it wouldn't be drilled into the building or change the aesthetics of the building.
Sign like
And,
that costs
um,
$3,000.
It's got kind of the mountains there on the top, and I was thinking perhaps maybe a county seal, but Ms. Williams had mentioned perhaps the number, like the 911 address, which would probably be best, because it's not visible at all, the 911 address of that
It don't
building.
work.
It's a cheaper option, it would not,
Well, we got one like this.
change any aesthetics or
Like
appearances of the
Bristol
building,
sign.
but it's really the board's
They
pleasure if you want to do
kick it up.
anything, and if so, what.
How did,
or-
I wish Roy had been here tonight to,
He's
What did he
also
think about
contacted me, and Roy did, and
what's that, Rhonda?
Roy contacted me about this sign sometime back.
Yeah.
He's very interested. He said that he had been approached, that people thought it was a motel. And he's right, there is no visible sign really
Yeah.
to see it, and
No, he contacted me too, but where does, has he seen both these?
He's not, he provided the first option here, he's not seen the,
I like the second option better
We
myself.
probably should have reached out to him, I guess, on
I
that.
guess if you put lights on that or something, that might.
I've been in that courthouse since it opened, and there's been attorneys from Richmond to Norfolk to Roanoke, and I've never heard anybody think it was a hotel. I don't know why that, I just don't think this is necessary. I understand what he's saying, but I'm not. Whether it's
Well-
3,000 or 5,000, I'm sorry, I don't think it's something that's an issue.
My thing was,
I'm sorry, I respectfully say that, I just don't, I don't see
I think
it.
if this would be a nice time to put
Mr.
lights.
Chair,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
My thing on all this
Around the
Well,
courthouse.
it's
was
just-
there was
it's
hesitation to even
I like
put what
this
was
one,
put
and
on
then put the street number
the other
on it.
place on the building.
How come, do you,
What?
why was that? I just wondered.
Well,
I didn't know.
at first, the judge didn't want it
Oh, okay.
as well, and that was what, but the thing I looked at, and I'm gonna be strictly honest here, when I first got here, about the time this was happening, the building being built, and I thought, cause all the rhetoric in the paper about what it cost and whether we should be spending the money, but when I got in office, I looked back and I said, this was a great achievement. Because it was the first building that this county had built in how many years? And as a result of that, we were able to empty the old, restore it historically, and create more space for the sheriff's department and stuff. And I thought it was a great effort, and I thought it was a good effort to honor him because he took a lot of beatings over this. And I will tell you that at one point, I was ashamed to hear this happening, but I got a call from a newspaper editor where certain political figures in our delegation were wanting to smear his name over all this and blame it for all the woes in the school district.
Well, it's refreshed me a little bit. Wasn't he ordered to do that, to build that building?
Yes, he was.
No, he ordered it to be
Well, I
done.
know, but he was told it had to be.
He ordered the board of supervisors to build it.
Well, what's that got to, I
Did he
understand
get
what you're saying, what's that
What
got
I'm
to do
trying
with
to
it?
say is, I think it's great that this was one of his legacies, that we got a new courthouse. So I think it's right when Roy says that people don't know what it is driving by, but I also think it's good to honor, this is one of his legacy achievements.
What if could we not take the letters off where they are now?
Place them over there.
I mean, the difference would that make?
I
Can
guess
can
I
you,
mean,
can
wouldn't
you
that save
take
them about
the-
$5,000?
letters off and use them?
I wonder how
on?
they're bolted in there, Larry.
Well, I'll
They're
caution
really
you on
the
that, I'll caution you on that. There may be a discolorant in, where you pull them off.
Yeah.
There'll be
And then the
holes
other
also.
thing is,
True.
and I've seen this in some other projects I was involved in, sometimes when you think you can just move it down here, the disassembly and the reassembly ends up being about the same. I'm
Well, I
not
mean,
saying
I
it's
just-
that way in this case.
I mean, can't we spend $4,000, $5,000 more dollars on something
Well,
that's
we
more
did get
beneficial?
the foreign, was it the veterans or the
Well, we got it,
Returned
but we can't
$5,000.
use it for this.
That's not, that was
Well,
one of
that's
the,
still, that's a surplus that we could use for this.
Well, I would like to make a motion that we go with the one that sits in the front of the courthouse. And instead of this mountain being up here, I think we should put the street number.
I know when Larry and I was, and Rhonda was at,
Southwest.
well, at Southwest College, all of their buildings has a freestanding thing. All of the buildings' names is not on the buildings.
No, I
They're these
understand.
Well, this might
freestanding ones.
change in the years
Yeah.
to come.
So where are we gonna put this?
Well, I'm sure.
Where
we
do you
can-
wanna
we
put, I
can-
mean, we already have a freestanding sign there.
We have one over between the buildings. It's a
There's a
small one.
freestanding sign there.
What does the freestanding sign say?
It says, here's the judicial center.
Yes, it has a sign, historic
how-
courthouse.
So whoever
judicial
thinks it's a
center.
hotel is blind or crazy. I mean, nobody ever thought that was a hotel.
So you don't think?
So what
that
I'm
sign-
gonna do is, if this board votes to spend this kind of money on something that's so unnecessary, I'm gonna make an additional motion that whatever amount this board votes to spend on this, that we, make the same amount appropriation to the Dickinson County foster children. So whatever this amount is, if we can spend 3,800, 4,000, 5,000 on something like this, we can certainly spend it to benefit our foster children.
Is there a requirement from them? I mean,
Is this a requirement?
What?
I'm
I guess
requesting,
I'm just saying,
I'm
is
the
there a
attorney
request?
for the foster care
I don't
program,
think
so
you
I'm
can-
requesting it.
You're sort of holding the gun to her head then.
Well, this is crazy.
Well, it
This
might
is
be
deep.
according to
This
you,
is
but I
crazy.
think
Has any
I agree with Ron. Henry took a lot of flack over that.
Well, we honor his name's on the building.
His-
This ain't got nothing to do with Henry. We all love Henry. I mean, but,
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion on the floor.
okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
What's the motion?
To
Well,
do
Shelby made a
this
motion to
one
do that
with
freestanding
the
sign,
street number.
but
up
Josh
there.
just made a,
No, I didn't make a motion. I just
no,
said
you
what I was
made the
going
point
to do.
that it's gonna be no different than the sign that's freestanding now.
Well, that's right. That's what
It'll
there's-
Well-
be different.
That's what,
Josh.
Larry, I asked if we
Well, I
could.
had noticed that sign.
we
very
could move
much.
it.
So I'm gonna second Shelby's motion.
I'll make a counter motion, or a
Substitute
substitute motion, that we just do what they asked for in the first place.
Okay,
What's
so
that?
that motion's dead. You want the 5?
Yep, I'll make that motion,
You want the 5,000?
yeah.
All right, there's a motion to spend, how much
No,
is it?
no, we'll-
$5,885.79 on something we don't need.
And that could have changed. I don't know, the quote was guaranteed for 15 days. It was given on August 2nd, so
Yeah.
there
So
have to be a
for the
little
public,
latitude.
it's the
so-
exact same lettering, right? I mean, it looks like literally the exact same that's on the other
So
side.
you're
It
drilling
is, I
in
think
the
it's
side
taller,
of the
there's
building
15
to put
inches in
those
height.
at.
Do we know if there's any
Taller layer.
wiring or plumbing on that side of the building?
No wiring, it's just drilled
But
instead.
no, I understand that, but on that side, could there be potential wiring issue?
should be
I mean,
going there.
I wouldn't think so. It's
There
not
wouldn't
lighted
be
or
anything in
anything.
the brick, it wouldn't go
I
deeper
understand.
than the
Probably.
brick.
That's drilled in the brick with studs. It's
Yeah.
mounted.
Can I make a substitute motion on top of his
No.
substitute
I
motion?
don't have two
No.
on the floor.
So
To
we
table
have,
it?
so we have a substitute motion. Is there a second?
We first have to take
No,
up whether
someone-
there's a
no one
second or
said-
Yeah,
not.
that's what I'm trying to do. Is there a second to Mr. Peters's motion?
Do we get to vote on?
There's I'm waiting for a second to
Okay.
Mr. Peters's motion. Is there a second? Last call. No second, that motion's failed, so now the floor is now open completely for any other motions.
It's already-
I make a motion that we table it and let Larry go back and check this price, if this is still still a good price, or
I
if
would
it has
actually-
Well,
increased.
now wait, you didn't take care of my
Well,
motion.
your motion
Shall
was
avoid both
overruled by the substitute
That's
motion,
where my
which failed, so now the floor is completely open.
we should have
So you can absolutely renew your motion. if
I'll
you'd like.
second your motion to table on the
You wanna make
condition that
another
we go
motion?
back to Roy and.
Yes, I like
All
that.
right, so we have, let's,
I'd like to make a motion that we go with this one.
all right, so we had Ms. Kaiser's motion to, table,
Table it.
and you seconded that, I believe.
Yep,
I would like to go with this one.
Wait, just a
That stands
second, was the
outside.
second before her substituted motion? I didn't,
Yes.
Ms. Clerk?
It was.
It was.
It was, okay, so we have Mr. Peters, we have a second. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote on your motion?
Oh, yes.
Mr. Peters?
yes.
Ms.
Did
Slug?
Ron,
Ms.
did you say you seconded?
Yes, I did. I'm table
You're
it and
seconding
let's
to
let them
table
it.
revisit the prices
Well,
and
I don't
all
know.
that.
Of course, I think we should visit the price again, but
Well, it's not gonna be that much
I don't think
difference.
it's much different.
All right,
Say no.
so Ms. Willis, your no,
Right.
Ms. Sluz?
No.
I vote yes. So it'll be tabled until further prices can be established.
Oh, I'd like to ask, how many motions can be on the floor at one time?
My understanding is you can have a primary motion, and then you can have a substituted motion. And then, so,
Well, we had two substitute motions while my motion was on the floor, correct?
No, I
no, we
asked,
just had this,
I asked if I could make one, and Mr. Sturgill shook his head no.
But when mine
Which would've been
died,
a
you
third.
could, you
Right.
could.
so what happened was, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I remember happening. You made the motion. Then Mr. Peters made a substituted motion.
Yep.
That motion failed, and that reopened the floor. Ms. Kaiser made her motion, Mr. Peters made his second before you made your substituted motion. Now, that's how I remember. Does any, Mr.
So we're
Sturgill, do you
tabling-
remember that?
I think that's pretty close to exactly what
Ms.
happened.
Fuller, is that, I mean, I'm not putting pressure on you, that's just, if I'm wrong, please
So
tell me.
we're tabling it, right?
Yeah.
But irregardless, we still get to the same place, but.
We need to, I think we table too much, we need to deal with it and move on. That's just how I feel. Everything that y'all disagree on, you table, and then that just puts it off for another month, for another discussion that takes 15 minutes.
Well, I disagree with that whatsoever.
Well, I'm
But I
ready to
guess what
vote.
the issue was,
They done take,
Well, they can rescind, can you rescind
no, they
that?
don't want to, so
They don't want to? Okay.
let's go
well, I'll tell you
ahead.
what, all right, I think I can do this. Well, I don't think I can.
Let's just move on to
Let's
other
move on.
business.
Other business, 12A.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 12A, we have, today, Ron, Peggy, and myself had a call with Audrey from the Corps of Engineers, and the agreement that you guys had approved previously and give me authorization to sign, the 106 programmatic agreement, which basically was stating what processes were taken should historical evidence be found during the 202 work, or native burial grounds or anything like that. We signed that, got that returned, and then just recently, I think she said on the 15th, and she found out on the 17th, the Virginia Department of Historic Resources, DHR, had contacted them back and wanted to make a few minor language changes to the agreement. And so therefore, they are getting that revised, and it will have to go back around for everyone to sign. Time is of the essence. We don't have that updated copy, but we will share that out as soon as we receive it. But we're asking if authority could be given to me to sign that agreement once it's received. Again, we'll share a copy with you all and share copies with Mr. Sturgill to review with any changes that may be, but she said it's just some minor language changes. Mr. Peters, Ms. Kaiser, do y'all have anything? to
Yeah,
add?
you know, what's going on is they're looking at closing this out next year.
Applications.
So we're trying to get it so that come January, they're gonna do another door knocking to try to gather up more people and that, and we expect this agreement to flow through Larry about December 7th and
Yes.
give it time to get that in place for that to proceed. And then we can, we wanna get, the idea is you wanna get some of the work going on so people see what they're doing to some of the houses, and it may encourage them to come out more, some of the ones that haven't applied. So if I
So I guess
said
what we-
restated some of your stuff, I'm sorry.
No, that's correct.
What we
you said.
really
I
need
appreciate
then
the
is a
clarification.
motion to give our administrator authority to execute the document subject to our attorney's approval. I mean, that's essentially what we need.
Mr. Chairman, I make
Yes.
that motion that we give him that authority.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I guess, Mr. Peters, I heard you first, I
Okay,
guess.
that's fine, that's fine.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, well, okay, we're 12B, Mr. Sturgill.
Yes,
This
this
should
deals
be
with a ordinance that's being requested dealing with roaming livestock. In conversations with animal control, there is a need to update the ordinance. And he's asked that I work on that. We have not completed all the language. I've submitted 2 drafts to him for review. What we are asking for tonight is the ability to put this to a public hearing for next month while we work on the language, and then for it to be subsequently put to a vote at next month's meeting.
This would cover dogs.
This does not cover dogs. This
Okay.
covers livestock, basically equine, cattle,
In other
donkeys,
words, they're all-
mules,
Sheep and goats.
sheep, goats.
Yeah.
We did have an old livestock ordinance that said you had to keep them on your
Is
property.
chickens included?
Property.
Chickens is not included in
Okay.
this. That did come up because that was put in the first draft, but it's my understanding that there's, as far as looking at the needs of what he needs as far as ordinance wise, I don't think he's asking that be included at this time, but.
It did come up some years ago.
And it
before
was
I on the
standing room
board.
only.
Well, there's not a lot of people got a lot of chickens
Yeah.
now, but still, I have some
I've
in
just,
my.
I've signed up that if I have that problem, I'll be eating chicken dinner.
Sure.
Well, there are still some people have problem with Roman chickens, and I wouldn't like it if they came over on my property, and I went to visit one place, and they had ruined a boat.
So I'm sorry, Miss Lewis.
Is there some way I know what she says, I know people, I don't think people have a lot of chickens anymore.
Yes, they do.
Well,
What's that?
It's
do you think
mine.
people have a lot of chickens?
Yes, they do.
I wouldn't want Roman chickens
I'm
coming
not
over
trying
my
to add
property.
chickens. I wasn't trying to add, I just
Yeah.
shared that.
So I guess what you would be doing then is forwarding to us for review a prospective ordinance.
I think
Exactly.
And if we want to have the public hearing and subsequent vote, we would do that.
We
Exactly.
need,
So what does the ordinance say right now? What,
The ordinance, let's see if I can pull it up here.
I've got it here.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, the current ordinance?
yeah, what does the current ordinance
I don't have a
say?
copy of it with me.
I guess what I'm just wondering about what needs to be fixed or whatever. Or what, you see what I'm saying?
Right, right.
how are they is the animal control having problems? Are they gonna be given the authority to enforce this, or the health
Yes,
department?
they would. It would
Yes.
be our-
Animal control's having
It'd be a
problems.
county ordinance.
Well,
Does this give
So I
them
guess,
more
Mr. Sturgill,
leverage?
does the code, so the code gives us the ability to
It does, the
do
Virginia
as
code.
restrictive or non-restrictive as we want.
Exactly, and that's pursuant to 3.26544 of the Virginia Code.
I'm just, like I said, I'm curious what it says
they
now.
keep it on your property. I've worked them.
Yeah.
I always
So it's a
thought
fence
that
in,
anyway.
it's a fence in ordinance.
No, you don't have to fence your property.
Well, I'm saying is keep in.
Yeah.
What it's basically saying is it's an ordinance to make sure that your animals are not trespassing on another's property or going on the highways or causing a.
Which is
health
fence in,
hazard.
I mean, for lack of another
Exactly.
In the
term.
past, I've had
Allowed to run
calls
at
about
large.
that livestock, eating the garden up and, going through the cemetery, eating the flowers and stuff like that. I've had those kind of calls. It's been a few years, but
We used to get those calls when I worked, and a lot of times we get calls about dead cows. Whose responsibility is it to remove a dead cow out in the middle of the road, And
So I guess,
is that gonna be addressed in the ordinance, or?
That's not.
Well, we have dead deer now. Who's doing that? The VDOT?
VDOT does
VDOT does
that.
that. I don't think they took, we always had a problem when they had people had dead cows or dead horses or
The
something.
county goes out and helps if they can with a backhoe and.
They'd have to have backhoe just about with a cow or,
Yeah,
Right.
done
Well-
some for Bruce.
What our intent was to get with animal control to see the specific
might ask
issue
them
that they're
about that.
having, and then trying to work
Used to
on
be a
the
problem
wording of the
before.
ordinance from there.
So we don't-
And then once we get the wording as far as based on the need, then to forward that to you all in order to potentially vote at next month's meeting.
well, I make a motion that we give you, we hold a public hearing about this ordinance.
Or
Perfect.
December
At
28th
our
meeting.
December is it 28th meeting of this year?
is there a second? Or any other
I'll
questions or
second it.
discussion? Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. As well. Does that cover it, Mr. Sturgeon?
That does.
All right, thank you. Item 13A, this is the ordinance we had a public hearing on previously. Is there any motions, questions, or discussion in regard to the prospective ordinance in our package?
I make a motion that we allow the county agencies to pay a bonus not to exceed $500.
And this doesn't mean, again, like I said in public comment, doesn't mean they will, it just gives them
The
authority
authority if
to
they
do
want
so.
to, yes.
Is there any Other discussion or second to that?
I have some discussion.
Sure, go ahead.
My concern is if we open this door, then we need to be consistent with all county employees, and do we really want to do that?
It gives the,
We've had discussions though
it
about.
gives the county agency the opportunity, the
I
county
understand, but
agencies.
we've had discussions on who should get this hazard pay, and then some agencies, well, they get this, so we shouldn't worry about them, but then we're gonna potentially open up further disparity on pay and stuff by doing this. And so I just wanna be consistent with all our employees in the county. If we're willing to do this, we should be willing to do it for our employees in the county as well.
So I guess what we don't know if the PSA is gonna do this. We don't know if social
That's
service,
why I'm saying, do you wanna spend that money?
but it would be their money.
It would be their money.
We have a contribution to it too.
Well, I understand that, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I'm
know we
saying,
don't-
what I'm saying is,
Jesus.
we were approached by an agency to do
I
this so
agree.
they could do it. That doesn't mean they will do it. I mean, I'm assuming they will, I guess, but what happens if, well, I don't
They've
know.
been
Do you wanna
doing
open up
it,
the
Lisa,
door?
they've been doing it already, but Mr. Sturgill says that we have to do the ordinance in order to allow them to do it. They've been doing it without an ordinance.
But I mean, this isn't us doing this though. Right, I mean, Ms. Sturgill, is that right? My understanding of this statute and how this works is that they can't do it or we can't do it without the resolution or the ordinance. But the ordinance isn't the appropriation.
That's correct.
So this
That's
doesn't
true.
mean,
It just authorizes the ability
Yeah.
pursuant to
They're
the.
that's what I'm
already
saying. So
doing
they may not even,
Yeah, they're not.
that's my understanding of it. We're not
Well, no, I
voting.
understand it fully, but I'm asking you,
He's talking
are
about
you
Chris.
willing to take the next step and give it to our employees?
Well, according to this, we don't have to. They don't have to.
What's that?
This is just an ordinance giving them the right to do
But
it.
you're
Don't mean
opening
they
the
have to.
door
I would
for it to
suggest that
happen,
we
so
do it
are we
myself.
and we just heard they've been doing it. So do we really want that door open financially?
They have been doing it and they're gonna continue doing it. He just says we need an ordinance to allow them to do it.
That's the point I'm trying to make here.
I have a motion that we approve this.
Is there a second? Last call for a second.
Children, are you not going to
Motion would
approve it?
fail. So are there any other,
And there was no comments whatsoever at the public hearing, not even from this board.
I didn't know we could comment.
What?
Board.
any other
You're a
motions on the
person.
ordinance?
A citizen.
Yeah, I'm a person.
A citizen.
I don't have any problem. I mean, my main problem was like Ron said, is it fair for one agency to get a Christmas bonus and another one not to get a Christmas bonus?
But that's not
That's
our-
not fair.
But we can
That's not our
control
But
that.
decision.
he's like, we're opening the door for controversy.
Okay, well,
Well,
fail.
what do you think?
It's already failed.
It's
Yeah,
already
it has.
failed, but
I agree with
that's
that.
my response, I think. If we're going to give it, if we're going to give it for all county employees, let's give it for all county employees.
But I guess not to just belabor this,
Well, I don't
we're gonna
like this
move
when they
on.
come back in and say, we need so much money, but you use money to give bonuses. I'm not against anybody getting a bonus. I'd like to see all of them get a bonus.
That's what.
I agree with what you're saying too, and I guess what I didn't understand and what is confusing for us a lot of times is we make these appropriations to, for instance, to DSS, to behavioral health, to
We only
PSA.
appropriate 10%.
Well, I know that, you're right, yeah, I know.
Which is not much at all.
No, not what their budget is.
But then you
But both of them have
have,
large budgets.
some employees that get, if you work for PSA, you might get one, if you work for DSS, you might not, or vice versa.
And the
So-
state gave deputies and sheriff's department 3,000.
But they done that. We didn't do that.
All right, so we move on to
We took
B.
care of 10 of them.
Yeah, the ones that were county
Mr. Barton, you
employees.
want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the ordinance for adoption of a revised transient occupancy tax, currently our countywide transient occupancy tax is 5%. And we're making the recommendation to adopt an ordinance that changes that back down to 2%. Because right now in the county, people are having to pay 5% to the county, 5% to the town. and then a 5.3% sales tax, so 15.3% on lodging. And as we try to focus more into tourism and attract people to the county, that's not very attractive, a 15.3% tax. And revenue-wise, I think it's only about a $39,000 revenue stream for the
So we go
county
down to 2%.
for the
what
year,
is-
so we'll go down to 2%. So
What would that be, 2%?
on that, that's just going to drop it down.
3%.
So
Yeah, about
if we
20.
approve
Well, I
this,
don't even know why we have to
25,000.
have it at all. Can we do away with it at all?
I wouldn't recommend doing away with it at all. The state sets the,
Here-
Well,
here's the
I
thing.
wanted to save people as much money as
Yeah, but
possible.
these are out of county people.
Here's the thing,
Well,
you're
that-
trying to
But we
draw,
want tourists, we want people out of county
Well,
coming.
that's why you want tourism, is
I
to
don't want
collect
to go to
this.
Hollywood and
Chair.
have to pay
You
this.
will collect
Mr.
them.
Chair.
Yes, sir, go ahead, yes.
here's the thing, if we're gonna make any money off tourism, it's meals tax
And
and it's
lodging.
it's this lodging tax.
Agreed.
That's where these trails, we don't get anything for it. But it's when they stay in our facilities
Eat
and
our
our.
food.
and-
Eat our
and
food,
And eat our
same.
food and stuff, then we
And buy
buy
things.
gas here and all that. That's where the money comes in.
We've got a
Now,
1%
I
local
think
sales
it's
tax.
reasonable to lower it, like we're doing, I just, it'll help it, we wanna be more attractive than our neighboring counties. I don't know if we are even at this, but,
I don't know either. I didn't reach out.
but that's,
Well, I think it's reasonable, and I'd like to see that we're lowering it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
make a motion that we do the ordinance for the adoption of the revised transit occupancy tax to 2% instead of the 5%.
oh, I do have a question on this. So,
Gee,
this is passed, and a letter goes out to all our people in this business?
It will. We will share that
have to
with them. The
change the-
Commissioner of Revenue assesses the tax and the treasurer collects it,
I
but we
assume there
will,
would be.
we will get word out as soon as possible because the treasurer maintains a list of everyone that files the returns each month, so we'll notify them. And I think this goes into effect, December 1st, I think.
No, January
Is it
1st.
January 1st?
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives us sufficient
I'll make a
time.
Make
motion,
sure
Chair,
you-
Mr. Chair,
I
that
think
we
Ms.
pass.
Willis-
I've already made the
Oh, yeah,
motion, I need a
Ms.
second.
Yeah, it's second,
No, I'm
that's
not
why I
making any more
spoke.
motions.
Okay. That's why
We'll never
I,
get
that's
through
why I
meetings.
discussed
I
it,
made the
I'm sorry.
motion.
All right, motion and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Item C, this is our resolution for COVID protocols, basically dealing with the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, allowing us to meet. One example would be when we can't have a physical quorum present, so we can do an electronic quorum, among other things in here. Is there any other discussion or issues on that?
I make a motion that, if Shelby shuts up, I make a motion that we, Shelby, you wanna make it?
No, go ahead.
I make a motion that he said, adopt the emergency ordinance to allow for the continuity of government operations during the pandemic. Do I don't have to read the rest of that, do
No.
I? Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
As well. Item D, the motion to adopt the ordinance for Dickinson County to join the Regional Industrial Facilities Authority.
Shouldn't we have a for 1 year on that?
Should that not be headed as?
I make a motion that we do create that
The
regional
technical
jail.
terms, the regulations for facilities.
Is there a
Sorry
second?
about that.
The RIFA.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further
I just thought
discussion?
Board members not gonna second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as
I
well.
appointed to the board.
Now we'll move to our closed meeting, closed session portion of our meeting. Is there a motion? And Mr. Martin, is there anything to add to that?
If not, thank
Okay.
you.
I make a motion that we go into the closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code, Section 2.2-3711A, 1 and 5A, Section 2.2-3711A1, I, Personnel, 1, all departments, B, Section 2.2-3711A5, 2, or economic development, and one update.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Ayes what? Now, out of closed session, the floor is open for a motion to certify the closed session portion of the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we only discuss those issues that we went into closed session for.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any further discussion? Ms. Willis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
Mr. Peters?
Aye.
Aye for me as well, Madam Clerk. Are there any motions coming out of closed session?
I would like to make a motion that we reconsider the ordinance to allow county agencies to pay a bonus not to exceed $500, excluding the sheriff's department that received, no.
No.
They're just bringing up the
It's
ordinance.
just the ordinance
Okay,
itself.
the ordinance.
And you're,
I make that motion.
Just the ordinance, let's do the ordinance and then.
Okay, I make
I
that
can
ordinance.
second that, can I, Mr.?
no.
I can't, oh, I'm sorry.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
So this is what this is. This is not a motion to approve the ordinance. This is a motion to reconsider the prior vote.
Okay.
So are we clear
I'll
on
make that
that?
Yeah, I'll
motion to
take a roll call,
reconsider
Mr.
our
Chairman.
prior
All right.
vote on the ordinance to allow county agencies to pay a bonus not to exceed $500.
And I second that. Ms. Willis, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ms. Sluss?
Yes.
Ms. Kaiser?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
No,
Motion would carry, I vote yes, 4-1 to reconsider the prior vote in regard to the bonus ordinance.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, there's some
I would
floors
like to
open.
make
Yes,
a
sir.
motion.
Go ahead.
that we authorize the county administrator to pay all employees full-time $500 bonus and all part-time $250 bonus, with the exception of
I don't
those
think we can do
employees.
that until the ordinance passes.
What?
What I'm saying is you're making a motion.
No,
We
we're
gotta-
not.
We just passed it.
I thought we just did that.
No, we made a motion to reconsider.
Oh, I got it.
So the
that is
motion,
true.
so we didn't actually have, that's why I stopped there at the
Okay, I'm
beginning.
sorry.
Okay,
So we're
I,
able to reconsider it now.
Wait,
Right.
reconsider.
That is true.
See what I'm
okay,
saying?
I understand what you're
So
saying.
we've
I
not
didn't
actually
realize.
adopted the ordinance yet.
So I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Unless I'm wrong, Mr. Sturgill, that's how
No,
we
that-
do
The
that's
it.
true.
ordinance to
Okay.
No,
allow
I
county
didn't realize that.
All right, so
I
Ms.
thought
Love's
that
making a
was-
I'll
motion.
make
No,
a
we just brought
motion
it back
to
to
adopt the
reconsider.
ordinance
Yeah.
to allow county agencies to pay a bonus not to exceed $500.
All right, is there a second? I'll second it.
Okay.
Ms. Willis,
I vote aye.
Ms. Sluss.
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser.
Aye.
Mr. Peters.
No.
Aye for me. Ms. for
Okay,
4-1.
Mr.
So
Chairman,
the
I'd
or-
like to make a motion.
All right, so the ordinance has been adopted.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the county administrator to give all employees for the county a $500 bonus if they're full-time, a $250 bonus if they're part-time, with the exception of those employees that already received a bonus this year.
Or hazardous pay. Right, or hazardous pay.
It's just a bonus.
It's just a bonus.
Bonus,
So we
okay.
have the motion for the bonus. Is there a second to Mr. Peters' motion?
I second that motion.
Is there any further discussion? Ms. Willis? How do you vote? Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser? Mr. Peters?
Aye.
Aye for me as well.
And that's, makes me happy, because that's well I say, you
All
fared our people.
right, is there any other votes out of closed session?
The-
I make a motion that we authorize, and I didn't write down how to actually say it, that we authorize the sheriff's department to allow $200 on-call pay to his investigators.
Did we get that right?
Did I get that right?
Mr. Sturgill? Okay, I just wanted to make.
$200 something weekly.
For, yeah, okay.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye as well. Any other matters coming out of closed session? If not, I'll move on to supervisor comments. Ms. Willis, is it okay to start with you?
Yes, it is.
Hope Ron and Tron ain't making us sick here.
I'm sorry, I'm not sick as I know of.
Go ahead, Ms. Willis, whenever you want.
You know, we need to be ready to make these motions and second these motions, and, you know, it was made a motion to table the thing on the Vanover sign. Because, let's look, see how much it's gonna cost us now, 15 days later. We need to make a motion, and somebody needs to second it, and let's vote yes or no on it. We don't need to table so much stuff and bring it back up next month. That's my thing. And
I'm sorry,
My
I'm sorry.
comments is,
holidays to everyone.
yes, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and Christmas, since we won't meet till after Christmas. And I want to wish the Ridgeview football team success Friday night. I'll be watching you and pulling for you. Saturday at 1, right? Saturday at 1, we'll be watching it and pulling for you, and I'm very proud of all of you, the coaches, the football players, the cheerleaders, the band, all of you. I'm proud of you. Proud to be a Ridgeview Wolfpacker.
Ms. Townsend.
I think I'm like Rhonda, just wish everybody Thanksgiving. It was hard to even come to my meeting tonight because I have a family member that I have not seen in 20 years that got to my house this evening at 4 o'clock for me to leave at 5. And just didn't have enough time with him, but I've got the next 2 or 3 days. And with making the motion to table something to discuss next time is no different than bringing back somebody else's motion that failed to get anything and hash it out tonight to get a vote. Same difference.
Point taken.
They should buy.
I'll just, kind of echo Rhonda, but I'll say this is a time for all of us to spend with our families and, praise what the year has brought good and reflect on what our losses are. Get close to your family and enjoy the time. I'm sure a lot of us have family coming in from out of town. I had the same thing that happened to Peggy, but I have seen my family in the last year. And I pray that it is a quiet holiday for our emergency management folks, including the sheriff's department and that. I'm reflecting back to where one of the the biggest stab I had in the heart as Santa Claus was when a kindergarten told me her Christmas present that she wanted was her family to sit down and eat a meal peacefully together for once. And that happened to me a couple years ago, and it still stuck with me. And this was a kindergarten. But let's all get out of here in a few minutes and go enjoy our time with our families and that. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, Ron. I want to thank you all. You don't sound crazy, but I'm thankful to be on this board and thankful to serve the county. And I'm even thankful for you, Ron, believe it or not. I do. I appreciate you all. This is a hard job, and it's been a hard year with COVID and everything, but I appreciate Mr. Barton. His fiscal management of our budget has allowed us to give our employees a bonus. We weren't able to do that last year. I'm not sure when it was last done. Shelby can maybe correct me, but
It was the year that Michael got all the veterans' money back.
but we're able to do that. I'm grateful to do that. We're able to approve and back our law enforcement officers and allow them to be compensated for time that they can't go on a trip with their family or leave the county. So I'm proud of that. And a lot of it's due to the hard work that we put into managing our money as appropriately as we can. And we're gonna have differences. We have them, gonna keep having them, but I think we are moving this county in the right direction. So I am exceptionally thankful for each of you all, and Larry and Will and Karen, and I hope that Teresa is okay. If we can get some information, Larry, if y'all can let us know how she's doing, I'd really appreciate that if you get it tomorrow. But thank you to our law enforcement, our sheriff's office, and I hope everyone has a safe and happy holiday. So I have a motion to adjourn whenever anybody's
I'll make
ready.
a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.